Welcome back to another rapid fire review on 30 Days of Sonic on Super Beanie Man Gaming, and in today's episode I'm going to be taking a look at Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations and Sonic Forces. Okay, let's get going, shall we? First up is Sonic Unleashed on the PS3. So after the poor reception to Sonic 06, Sega went back to the drawing board and attempted to redefine what a 3D Sonic game was. And with Unleashed, Sonic team managed to pretty much redeem themselves for the most part. There is a lot to like about Sonic Unleashed, as it's a game that you can clearly see Sonic team and Sega put a lot of effort, time and money into, because they needed to make sure this game was right when it came out. From the visuals, the music and the awesome CGI cutscenes, this game finally feels like a AAA Sonic title. So Sonic now has some new boost gameplay, with you mostly speeding through a branching but fairly linear path. You're essentially running on a track, running into the screen with some areas moving the camera to play for a brief bit in a 2D style. The gameplay is much more simple as a result, but it is really thrilling once you finally figure out a good route for a level, knowing exactly when to jump, slide, boost and what paths to take, as you can then just pretty much breeze through the stages and really feel like you are this super fast hedgehog. It's the game's greatest strength, that pure sense of speed that no other Sonic game captured quite as well before it. Each level is really fun to just blast through, and they all have these really cool sort of set piece moments, like grinding along and around that clock tower in Spagonia, or jumping on that bobsled and sliding over the ice, or maybe running across the water in Adabat. It's a game that will make you smile and say, that's so cool, oh my god, that was wicked, especially in the moments where everything is going right. There are a few downsides, however, such as the cheap bottomless pits and some not very well refined platforming sections, as Sonic feels worse to control at lower speeds, weirdly. And, well, I also hated the drift turning, as it just really sucked, especially when you have to do it for some of the challenges and ranks. It was just a pain in the ass because you could never turn right. It was terrible. Thankfully they fixed that in future titles. Sonic looks great in this game, as do the environments you speed through. Even though you only see them for a split second as Sonic speeds past, they still look great even when you slow down and take a look. And for the first time in a Sonic game, I felt that the human characters with their new Pixar-like designs didn't feel as jarring and out of place as they normally do. The music is also absolutely brilliant, with each stage having an awesome song to really pump you up for a high-speed dash through them. Spagonia is one of the highlights for me. What an awesome song that was. Oh, and the hub worlds also have some really nice tracks too. Another nice detail with the music is that the main theme on the results screen, if you do good and get a high rank, the music will play correctly and all in tune. However, if you end up with a rubbish rank, the song plays out of tune and it sounds terrible. It's just a nice little touch that they didn't need to add, but it really does make it seem more special. Again, the real quality shines through with this game. The only real negative for the music side of things would be the Werehog's battle music. Oh my god. By the time you finish a Werehog level, you'll be sick of that theme, trust me. It's just, well, it's not that it's a terrible song, it's just that it's used in every single fight you have. So you'll hear the opening jazz bits, the over and over, again and again, every single time you enter combat in a level. Even if it's just one enemy, you'll hear that music blurt out, and it'll just make you, it'll make you sick, and you'll just want to end up muting the Werehog sections. Speaking of the Werehog, this is the game's new gimmick, as Sonic transforms into a Werehog after a fight with Robotnik, and this brings with it a new gameplay style. I say new, but this is what Knuckles' stages should have been like in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, really. It's platforming and combat, and it sounds great, but in practice the Werehog levels are, to be fair, they are the roughest parts of the game for me. They are overly long, with some levels taking like 40 minutes to an hour, and the combat is rather basic. You can kind of just use the same move on every enemy to kill it, and the platforming itself is really clunky, as you have to have this sort of lock-on target appear before you can press the button to grab and have the werehog stretch out his arms to grab the ledge, and it can be very frustrating when you jump and are facing the ledge that you want to grab onto, but the lock-on target doesn't appear and you end up just dying as a result. The camera also doesn't help in some of these levels, especially the Eggman Land section at the very end of the game. I think if these levels were like 5 minutes long maximum, with better controls and movement and smarter enemies to fight against, that you could have more in-depth combos to defeat enemies with, it would actually be a blast to play. But as it stands, they are fun in places, don't get me wrong, but the length of them really kills your enjoyment of these levels after a while, especially when the daytime stages only take like 2 to 3 minutes to speed through, and then you've got a really long, almost hour-long section of the werehog to play before you can go back to the really fun Sonic parts. It does drag it down. The world adventure you go on in Sonic Unleashed is pretty fun, and while Chip, the new sidekick, can be annoying for some with his chocolate obsession, I found him to be a fun addition, and the fact that he only appears in this game makes his appearance more unique and special, and I thought he was alright. Overall, Sonic Unleashed was a big leap in the right direction for Sega and Sonic Team, and the new boost gameplay was fun, and it showed a lot of promise. This game was a massive step up in quality compared to Sonic 06, and like I said earlier, there is a lot to like in this game, and while not perfect, it is still a really fun game, and I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. Next up we have Sonic Colors, which was released exclusively on the Nintendo Wii console, but hopefully now it's getting a Ultimate Edition remaster on all new platforms. So Sonic Colors on the Wii is perhaps my favourite 3D Sonic game of all time, as I just think it's a near perfect game with an awful lot to like about it. The game takes the boost daytime gameplay from Sonic Unleashed and refines it further, making adjustments to the speed and control that really do improve this gameplay style. There is a lot more slower platforming and 2D sections in this game as well, and Sonic gains a double jump, allowing for more precise movement and platforming. Super Sonic also returns, and best of all, he can be used in any stage, which is brilliant. Though by the time you get enough rings and transform in the stage, it's pretty much the end of the level by that point, so you're only getting for a little brief moment, but still, it's Super Sonic. What's not to like about that? So, in this game, the game takes place in space, and the whole story is that Robotnik has built this amusement park, Eggman Land, on this new planet, Planet Wisp. So the levels in this game are really unique and kind of creative. You haven't really seen stages like this before in Sonic games. I mean, there's a whole area in the game that you go through that's just a load of desserts and donuts and candy and stuff, and we've never really seen anything like that in a Sonic game before. So Planet Wisp is one of the game's coolest strengths because it looks great, and even though it's on the Wii, the graphics and production values from Unleashed have been matched, and again, it just oozes quality. It keeps that high standard from Unleashed and moves it forward to make an even better game. One of my favourite things in this game is only a really small little detail, but it's the game's music, again being really top notch and having an awesome and super high quality to it. And one thing that I really liked with the music was the way that it becomes muffled whenever you jump into water. You kind of hear it like going. It's just a really nice little touch. And for me, this game just always felt like Sega and Sonic's answer to Mario Galaxy, and it's one of my favourite games on the Nintendo Wii. Another strong point about the game is that it's a pure Sonic experience, with no random tacked on character or sidekick with a different gameplay style attached this time around. The game is designed for Sonic from top to bottom, and each level is made to cater for him and his abilities, and I think that allows it to be a really well done and quality Sonic experience, because they haven't got to spend more development time building this new gameplay style and trying to add all these new things in with these new characters. The focus is purely on Sonic, so you can tell they spent all their time just getting his gameplay right, and I think that was a great idea and a great thing for them to do. It makes sense. So yeah, it just really shines the quality of the Sonic experience in this game, and the 3D to 2D, back to 3D sections in the game work really well, and I think the 2D gameplay in this one feels a lot more tighter, and it's more fun in this game, and it's a good thing because, like I said, there is a lot of 2D parts in this game, and that can put some people off it if they just want the pure 3D experience. But for me, I thought it was a great balance, and I really enjoyed both gameplay styles. So yeah, Sonic Colors features some new power-ups called these Wisps that can give Sonic some short-term abilities, such as the Drill Wisp, which will allow you to dig underground, Rocket Wisp, which will send you flying forwards, the Laser Wisp, which you can use to shoot these crystals, which will then send you flying through them. And for the most part, I think these work really well, with only one or two being kind of dud ones that just weren't that great. The Mario influence definitely shows again through these power-ups, as they're kind of like the Mushroom, Fire Flower or Leaf power-ups in those games, which allowed Mario to reach new areas or attack enemies. On the whole though, I think Sonic Colors is an absolutely brilliant game, and it's one that I would recommend to Sonic fans old and new, as well as people who haven't played Sonic before, as it's not only a great Sonic game, but it's also a really good game in itself. It's a great introduction to Sonic, and it's an awesome reintroduction to the character if you hadn't played a Sonic game for a while. It's, for me, 3D Sonic at its best, and I would give it a 10 out of 10. Next up is Sonic Generations on the PlayStation 3, which was the 20th anniversary, I think. The 20th anniversary game, my god, it's that old already. Wow, and what an awesome, absolutely fan-fucking-tastic game this was. If Sonic Colors is my favourite 3D Sonic game, then Sonic Generations is, oh my god, it's hot on its heels, and it's very, very close behind it. And I think the reason I don't think it's my favourite Sonic game, 3D Sonic game of all time, is because it's kind of not really its own game, if you will, because it's more of a celebration of all of the Sonic titles that came before it. So all of the levels are made up of stages from past Sonic games, so you're reliving Sonic's history through the game, which is a really cool idea, but it doesn't make the game stand on its own as well as it could. So I think I can't really say the greatest Sonic game is a collection of Sonic levels from every other Sonic game, so that's why it kind of just falls just slightly short of Sonic Colors for me in terms of being the best Sonic game. But my god, it's still an absolutely awesome game. So as you can see from the footage, and as you'll probably know anyway, this game is still further expanding on the Sonic Boost gameplay that we've seen in Unleashed and Colors. And I don't think it really does anything totally new in these games. It does more of the same, but it does it better, and it adds more like sort of refinements to it, and the controls are better, and it feels great to just blast through the levels. So as I said earlier, it's kind of a celebration of Sonic's history, so you end up going through all of the mainline Sonic games. You kind of do like a zone for each one, so you'll do a Act 1 will be maybe a 3D version of the stage, and then Act 2 will be a 2D gameplay styled version of the stage, and then you'll have a boss at the end, and it might be one of the characters from one of the games, or whatever. You might be going up against Robotnik, or it might be Metal Sonic if you're doing the Sonic CD area, and it's just really fun. The 2D sections I think work great here, and the 3D ones are just an absolute blast to go through. Taking some of the old stages and making them in 3D is just a really fun thing to see and play through. So the game will go through Mega Drive classics like Sonic 1, where you get to go through Green Hill. Sonic 2 is coloured by Chemical Plant. Sonic 3 sadly doesn't have Ice Cap, which I really wanted. Instead they use Sky Sanctuary, so they sort of put Sonic 3 and Knuckles together. We don't get Sonic 3D, which is unfortunate. It then jumps to CD, so we have Stardust Speedway, I think it was. Then in Adventure 1 we have that the nighttime downtown level. Sonic Adventure 2 is of course City Escape. Sonic 06 is the sort of future level where everything is sort of lava and collapsing buildings all around you. And then there's loads of other stages from all the other games, and eventually you get to the final stage where it's like a new boss fight. So it's a mixed bag, to be honest, because while I really like all of the levels, I wish there was more from each game in this. It would have been nice to have played a couple more stages from each game instead of just one. And a lot of the times it can kind of feel like you're playing the same sort of level themes over and over again, because you do Green Hill, but then you'll also do like I think it's Sonic Heroes is I can't remember what the level is now, but it's kind of the same sort of level, and we don't get like some of the later levels in games. It's always the early sort of levels, to be fair, and it would have been just nicer to have had a different sort of mixture of levels, because they all kind of are the sort of early opening levels, if you can get what I sort of mean there. You probably can't, so I'm just going to skip that and move on. But for the most part, it is a blast. The story is kind of just the weakest part, because there's not really a story. It's just like Sonic's birthday, and then this creature comes out and takes you, and you have to save all your friends. But one of the best parts about the story is having classic Sonic, modern Sonic together, and classics Robotnik and Eggman together, and their scenes as they sort of bounce back and forth with each other are just some of the highlights, and it's an absolute blast, and it's a real cool celebration. And I wish with this anniversary now, the 30th, that they would have done Sonic Generations 2, but unfortunately they didn't. But for me, Sonic Generations is a fine Sonic game, and I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. So the last game on this review is Sonic Forces on the PlayStation 4, and with this game, it's just kind of disappointing, to be honest. It's a really sort of meh, sort of forgettable Sonic game. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't really stand out, and considering how long we had to wait for this game, it just kind of just feels disappointing, it's just a bit of a misstep, to be honest. I think that it's just all over the place, really. It tries to do this really dark storyline where Sonic gets defeated, sort of captured by Robotnik and held prisoner, and Robotnik essentially wins and takes over and enslaves the whole world, and the Sonic forces rise up to try and stop him. But it's just a kind of garbage story, and there's a lot of areas where it feels rushed, like you see Perfect Chaos as one of the villains that returns in cutscenes, but you never get to actually play against him in a boss battle. He's sort of just defeated in a cutscene. Classic Sonic returns, because it kind of links into Sonic Mania with the story, but not really. It just feels a bit like he wasn't really needed. They could have just done the 2D Sonic gameplay with modern Sonic. And you also get this new character, which you basically create your own character, and you play as him as part of the Sonic forces to try and save the world. And it was kind of a cool idea, but it's kind of a bit shit, really. The best part about it was that I got to make Johnny Lightfoot, but yeah, its gameplay wasn't that great. You still run through the levels, but you get to have this like gadget with you, so you can do like this slingshot and swing around on this rope, and you can actually customize the character's weapons, so you can have like a flamethrower or like a machine gun type weapon. But it doesn't really work in the game, because it kind of makes it feel like Shadow the Hedgehog with the awful sort of like shooting gameplay that they tried to add in with that. And for me, it just didn't really work. And Sonic's gameplay, while still fun, it's still that boost gameplay that we all love. The stages just didn't really seem that memorable. They were just sort of, well, for starters, they were really short, so as they were just sort of getting going, you'd just be suddenly at the end, and you'd be like, oh, is that it? And none of them really stood out. They used Green Hill again at the start, and they tried to change it so that like there was sand throughout the Green Hills, and there was these sandworms in the background, but it just never really felt that interesting. It was a game that just was like, yeah, okay, I beat it, I got the platinum, but it's never one that I really want to go back to, because it just falls a bit flat, to be honest. I liked the fist bump theme song, and it was cool to see some of the old villains come back, but they weren't really used that well. And the new villain Mephiles, he was just absolutely, no, it wasn't Mephiles, was it? I can't remember what his name was. Infinite. Mephiles was in Sonic 06, sorry. Yeah, Infinite. He was just forgettable, and his origin story with the Shadow DLC was absolutely laughable. Shadow basically just mocks him, and then he starts to go all crazy, and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's a very, very disappointing Sonic game, given how long it took them to make this and how long we waited for a new Sonic game after Generations, if you didn't count the Lost Worlds and all those ones. And it just fell flat, and it just wasn't a fun game to play through again and again. It's very disappointing. It's just a mediocre Sonic title. It's not a badly made game or anything. It's just not a very good one to begin with, and that's its greatest problem. It's just not that good. So I would give Sonic Forces a 5 out of 10. So there you have it. Those are my rapid fire reviews for Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Forces. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned to Super Beanie Man Gaming for more 30 days of Sonic the Hedgehog. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next video.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog, and you're watching 30 Days of me, Sonic, on Super Beanie Man Gaming.